Hello, I am a real catfish, and in today's video I will be showing you guys how to make a nether style wall. So in the last video I was terraforming around the nether, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a wall that, in my head, the idea is that you can see that lava in the background. What that is basically I'm going to use that as a kind of pull. So a lot of castles, for example, have a moat, and in my head this wall will be kind of using the lava as a moat, and then as the video goes on you can see I add a lava feature. And so the idea is, obviously this is the nether, so this is kind of where lava is, and at some point I will be getting rid of that lime green concrete on the floor. I've just had it there as a placeholder just so I know how big of an area I have to work with. As you can see, I'm adding detail all across, and I bring the camera a bit closer just so you can see it. But the idea here is that it's not a boring thing to look at, and as I say, the idea is, as you can see, the lava always flows from below where the lava is behind it. So as I say, that lava there is specifically there just at the minute as a kind of, this is where lava will be going. However, at some point I will actually be filling in the lava so it is filled up, and so it's at the right height kind of thing. I'm not sure whether I'll use a fill command or whether I will just try and fill it in myself. I feel that a fill in command might be a bit easier to do. In this bit I try out my first design for the wall, and originally it was going to be made of nether bricks similar to the back. However, I realised that that wasn't quite good enough, and so I then do start swapping it out for stone, cobblestone in a minute. However, a big thing was originally I was just going to do a skull, but then I did the skull and it just looked a bit meh, and so then I decided to try and do a mythosaur from Star Wars. And the mythosaur skull is a really simple design, and all of a sudden it went from being kind of meh to all of a sudden like, oh yeah, I like this is a good design. As I say, I need to, in a minute, swap it over to cobblestone like I do here, and also I make it just ever so slightly wider, longer down at the bottom, not wider. Go on, any second now. There we go. So as you can see, it's the mythosaur style, and then what I do is I fill in the eyes with lava, because once again it's a lava themed build, I may as well. I did a poll on my Instagram for what kind of builds people would like to see on this map, and one of the big things that people resoundingly said was Vader's castle from Star Wars. And maybe I didn't explain what I meant by this before, but I'm trying not to just do Star Wars builds. Like, I will do Vader's castle because that's a really cool build, but I'd rather have other hellscape type ideas as well. So not just Vader's castle, for example, but maybe someone sends me a picture on Instagram or something like that that I can just use as an inspiration point, because just it'd be cool to have that as an idea. One of my other friends, Snoop Dogg, who's previously helped with the 8080 build in one of my previous videos, he talked about the idea that maybe I should use Lord of the Rings or something like that, for example, as a stylistic choice. And that's the kind of thing I'm after, is to have other ideas put in as well. As you can see here, I try a bunch of different things, and I try and get it so lava flows, but as you can see it keeps going wrong. And so what I think of the idea is I don't want to have it all be lava all the time kind of thing. And so what I do is I just leave it as it is down the bottom, and I realise that the lava just isn't going to work. Eventually. I carry on adding some small details. So within, you can see I do hide a bit of netherrack brick again, and when you're close to the build wall you can see the netherrack kind of thing. I then build another mythosaur on the side, and so this is the idea of a repetitive pattern. So if I'm going to have this large wall, I need to be able to basically copy and paste it across an entire area so it can actually fit. So once again, the mythosaur's eyes get filled in with lava. I then go back through and then come across, and then I add the other side. So then this is where the build is cloned with like little kind of quote unquote marks. because originally, funny enough, this build I was going to make as, so the height the wall is at now, not the wall, whatever I tried to say, the height the wall is at now is how tall I originally was going to have it, and then I realised actually this is a bit too small, so let's try and make it a slight bit larger. As you can see here, I then go through and add the nether brick just around the back. So once again, this bottom bit where the lava is flowing from, you can see I'm using a measure just to double check to see how high the lava is. But as an overall measure thing, I then take the wall up high. But this bottom half where the lava is won't be touched with any kind of design or pattern, because it won't be seen by anyone or anything, because the idea is that, let's be honest, if it was with lava it would all get disintegrated anyway. So I've just got a really strong back wall with some areas around the front where the lava is allowed to seep through slightly. So in this part of the video, instead of cutting ahead, which I could have done, I've left in this tiny bit here where I'm testing out ideas, and a big part of the reason I've left this in is because it shows that I didn't just come up with the idea without any kind of thought and process. It didn't just come to me, I had to try out a bunch of different ideas. So first of all, I tried out this little pattern here, and this is just to show people that it's not an easy process that's just 1, 2, go kind of thing. Because the first thing I did was I tried to build it, and then I realised it wouldn't fit the pattern wouldn't fit at all. I then tried to build across this whole idea and thought maybe I could have it be a singular wall pattern design idea. And then I come across and I realised to myself, maybe I'll try this other idea out. And this final idea I think I tried was the last one that I did try, and it was the thing I stuck with. So the first thing I did was I delete all of the cobblestone, like so. Originally I used my hand, and I realised, why don't I just paste air, and so I started getting rid of it just by replacing all the area with air. Any second now. There we go. And then I realised, okay, so the lava area, let's build a bit of wall here and here. And then I went to the middle bit and I realised it was a space of the same distance, so I thought I'd build another one there. And then I go through and I just try out this other design idea. So the idea is that where the cobblestone is, it's a flat surface, and then the area where the cobblestone isn't, so the wider areas where the Mythical Skulls are, those areas get filled in with netherrack, one space behind. And so in my head, I went from just building a wall to then building a really big wall with a walkway on the top that possibly could be accessed. And so I build in this area here, and once again the whole idea is pattern and style. And so as I go on, I then add this pattern to it. As soon as I finish just filling in this area here. This just made sure everything was a consistent height, and then I start going through with the pattern idea. So I add some stone stairs, so everything is literally 2 materials, and to be fair I could have had a 3rd material or 4th material, but just for ease of access with my hand I decided to use 2 materials, and in the long time it's worked quite nicely. And one big thing I did have to admit I love using with this was stairs. Using those stairs was such a useful tool to have. I then decided to go through and, as you can see, you've got your stairs. I then went through with everything and decided to use shroom lights, which I realised were really nice, kind of soft lights, because I didn't want to use glowstone, because I used glowstone quite a lot on a lot of previous builds, and because glowstone used to be the only thing we could use. And so it's really been cool to have these different light sources, like shroom lights or lanterns, for example. I know with the new update, they're going to have candles, which is quite cool. An idea I've had for my main city build is I have an old series on my YouTube where it's called Touring a Modern City or something like that. And in that video, I go through and I toured one of my, well, I used a bunch of clips from my old world, and what I'm thinking is I could possibly recreate those buildings, because I really do like those buildings, and the only reason I don't have that world anymore was because someone griefed it really badly. Nobody's allowed to build on my new world, and what I'm thinking is I might go through and actually rebuild some things. So quickly, just whilst we're building, what I go through is I built the walkway to only be this tall that it is now, and then the idea is it is a walkway. So each of the areas where it goes up slightly higher, where it's a tower type thing, I go through and I just leave it as a walkway you can walk through. And then what I'll do at some point is I'll actually have ways to get up, so I'll have specific towers that you can get up to the roof, for example, with, or up to the walkway. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the idea of me rebuilding my city, because to be quite frank, I've always wanted to have a world where I have all of my builds, and this has been a big thing in my heart, where I've always wanted to have all the world builds I've ever done in one area, because it's just cool to have. And like, for example, at the minute I'm replacing the Nether portal stuff with this system here, so I'm going to have a bunch of builds in the Nether which allow you to access other areas. But one of the big things I could do, for example, is have it so that these other areas you can't access with the Nether, but all of a sudden you can accidentally bump into them, kind of thing. Or maybe I'll have it be secret Nether portals, kind of thing, which I think would be quite cool. I think that will be something I do stick with, because there are certain areas that I've not finished yet, and until they're finished I don't want people really being able to access them just yet. And so, for example, I might possibly make an area that I just know about, that no one else knows about, as a kind of host-only area where I can go just to build things. And then when it's either built or I feel happy with sharing it with people, then that's when I can start going through and actually having people be able to access these areas. As you can see here, what I did was I made a mistake with one block. That's all it can take to ruin a big project like this, is missing out one block. So I had to go through and just replace it all and move it one block to the left, which I've obviously done. But that took a lot of effort to do, and I love it, and I really enjoyed it, because it's just cool to just... Sometimes it's fun to make a mistake, and this is one of those times where I wasn't too upset with the idea of making a mistake. And so I went through, I replaced all the stone, cobblestone, and then I replaced the walkway area. I then go around the back and I repeat the pattern, and at the end of this video I had to leave a bit quickly because I had run out of time. However, in a kind of, I will do a showcase just showing you what I've built in the video, kind of thing, at the end. So if you do want to like hang about to the end to watch that kind of thing, please do. But I fill it in and I replicate a very similar pattern to what was on the front, and then that means as well that both the front and back have the same walkway pattern, so it means that you can't fall off backwards by mistake into lava, for example. And I have to admit, I was a really big fan of how the walkway idea ended up, because it was an accidental pattern that ended up working out really well. So as you can see, the pattern's coming through any second now. There we go. I'll start adding in the shroom lights. You can see that I'm filling all the area. But yeah, so that was one big thing I did do, which I was quite proud of. And then as you can see, that's where the pattern starts coming in again on the front. That was an accidental choice, but once again, it's nice how these happy little accidents can happen and allow you to do these different builds. So once again, as you can see, it's that same design from the front on the back. Go through, replace all the cobblestone stairs. And yeah, so now I've got a full walkway, and I've got an entire area where there's protections from certain things. So for example, say some lava was spitting up, you can hide behind one of these big barriers. And I didn't make it too costly because I didn't want it to be too much on that kind of area. But the big thing with this build is, and you will be seeing this any minute now, the big thing with this build is the idea that you can replicate it. This is one of those builds that you can replace, you can copy, you can paste it. And that's what you want to have with a big wall design like this, is you want to be able to have it so it can repeat and relay itself. And then I finish off building these little patterns, which I had again. And as you can see, I then add a tiny bit of patterning on the roof here for the Nether area. So here is the build completed and put into an actual padded out wall. I want to thank you guys for watching so much, and if you watched to the end, thank you so much. I need view time on these videos because that's what YouTube likes, is view time. I've gained like 10 subscribers in the last few days, which has been really cool, so thank you so much for subscribing and liking and watching. Goodbye.